Okay. Yeah. We're discussing Virginia Woolf biography. If you come to her page on Wikipedia, you will see that she has a lot of famous siblings that have her or his own page on Wikipedia. So, and that will also lead to their group that will be formed in the beginning of 20th century, which I will cover later. So, her background was a rich family. She was homeschooled and she was taught English and Victorian literature. And then she attended ladies' department at King's College London, where she studied classics and history, and there she came into contact with early reformers of women's higher education and the women's rights movement. So she is considered one of the greatest figures in feminism, and in 70s later she will be considered as one of the huge parts of this movement. So, coming to the 20th century, she will be encouraged by her father, writing professionally, and at this time she will be 18, so quite early. And in 1904, her father is dead, and the family moves into more Bohemian district, Bloomsbury. And this is really important because in this district she will find her comrades, if we should say so, in art and literature, and they will make Bloomsbury group. So a lot of her siblings and cousins will be in that group. And in this group, 8 years later, she will marry Leonard Woolf. This is her husband. And the name she is famous for. And after 5 years of their marriage, they will found Hogarth Press, so which will publish much of her works. With Leonard, they had no children. Everything was dedicated to Virginia's work, and she was actually in love with Vita Sackville West. And it is really hard to say if she loved her husband because they had an affair for about 10 years, if I'm not mistaken, and they exchanged love letters for until her death. And I've researched a little bit about this Vita. She was also in an open marriage with a man, and that open marriage included affairs with other people, commonly with their own sex. So basically, she was a lesbian and he was a gay, and they kind of, maybe it was marriage just to fit in society. I don't know, because it was that time where nobody knew or wanted to know about LGBT community. Yeah, you know. Um, she was a writer too, actually, and they both have written about their affair in their works. Um, so yeah, and there is a film about this affair. It's called Vita and Virginia. So if you're interested in this affair, you can watch. During the interwar period, Woolf was an important part of London's literary and artistic society. That was a huge thing at that time, so she was quite active. And what is also important to say that throughout her life, Woolf was troubled by mental illness. She was institutionalized several times, and she had 2 attempts of suicide. but her illness was not diagnosed at that time, and later it would be characterized as bipolar disorder. And of course, there was no effective treatment during her lifetime. So at the age of 59, she died by drowning herself in the river. So such an sad end. Yeah. So this is what's about the creator of this book. And maybe it's important to say also that Mrs. Dalloway is one of her greatest and most popular books. This is, I'm not sure if it's the first time she used this stream of consciousness narrative, but that was the book that made her modernist. That's it. Any comments?
Thank you. Really lots of interesting facts about her.
Yeah. So, coming clockwise, we're going to know a little bit more about context. Maybe you remember or you know which year the book was published.
No.
No. It was published in 1925, so
Mm-hmm.
it was written about the 20s. And what was at that time? It was time after the First World War. So you can see that Septimus is a former soldier from World War One, and that was the time. Yeah, you remember maybe The Great Gatsby? It is also
Yes.
about the 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in America it was more like luxury than luxurious than in United Kingdom, because United Kingdom also suffered as the whole Europe from World War One. So maybe they had not such big parties, but they still had ones. So you can see some photos of Westminster, how people dressed at that time. And that was the time where people also, you can see the slide, questioned the society, questioned the government. So it had the world had a huge effect on the way people saw the world. And soldiers like Septimus joined the battle out of a patriotic loyalty, which they questioned upon their return. And all classes begin to question the strict class system. So you remember that it was patriarchy, and the book itself speaks about this huge effect of marriage on the woman's life. So this is not Clarissa Dalloway, this is Mrs. Dalloway, so Mrs. Richard Dalloway. Nothing speaks about her own personality, but everything speaks about her status and her husband. Yeah. Um, yeah. So this is about the context. Anything to add? Anything to question? No.
Maybe for me, just more clear now about the idea of the book. When
Mm-hmm.
you told about this Mrs. Dalloway and why the book is called like that, um, because I haven't thought about that like in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. And I'm not sure if it was in your reader, but it was in the book actually, that she had this strong feeling that she loses herself by this name. behind this name.
Maybe I heard a short version about this book, and it was not here. Also,
Maybe.
I noticed that when I watched this video that you sent, that Septimus died like jumping from the window, as I understood. But in my book, it was that he used a knife for that. And yeah, I was surprised and why they changed the original plot. And I wanted to ask you about that. Maybe I didn't understand it's correctly.
Well, as I remember in the book, it was not mentioned how he committed suicide. And in the video, it is not just the book, it is also some analysis. So yeah, maybe the author of your reader analyzed it that way, and the others analyzed it that way.
Okay,
So
interesting.
yeah, it was just the fact that he's dead in the end.
Okay.
Good. So, and we are going to your general impression. I've left some questions in the chat to you for you to think of. Yeah, and here I have a photo of one of the editions of Mrs. Dalloway. So here you can see that she is walking the clock. And I wanted to ask you why do you think I've prepared my mind map in form of the clock? Why it's always the clock?
Maria, maybe you.
Honestly, I have no idea. It's some kind of metaphor that I cannot comprehend.
Okay. I guess maybe it's because of her memories. So, she lives in her memories and in the present time, and it's all like time, clock, and so on. Yeah, I think like that.
Yes, yes, and also the original name or the first name that Virginia came up with was the Hours. So not Mrs. Dalloway, the Hours.
I know the movie about maybe Virginia Woolf. It's called like clocks, and
Yes, there is a movie, The Hours.
maybe it's also because she's analyzing her life, and that she's old now, and trying to remember her young years, and yes, and maybe this idea.
Yes, it was one of the ideas of the book. Yes, yes, that's right. And as you remember, the book is about only one day. So it starts in the morning and ends with the party. It's one day in the middle of June, and some people think that it's 14th of June. So this is when Mrs. Dalloway's Day is celebrated. And there is also a small detail that talks about hours. It's Big Ben. Big Ben strikes through the whole book. So you can see how Mrs. Dalloway, how Septimus and Rezia, how all these people come around London, and what time is it now?
Yeah, you're right. Yes. To be honest, for me was very strange that it's a lot of times between these two memories, like when they were young. It was like, I don't know, they have had 17 or 18 years old, I don't know, or
Something like
maybe
that.
20, but now they're like 50, 60 years.
55, 52, something like
Yes,
that.
so it's like 20 or 30 years past, and why now? So um, it was, I didn't understand why right now this Peter came back and all this stuff is happening, and she's thinking about her youth and so on. Just like, yeah, 30 years pass, and
Okay. So let's count. What was the age of Virginia at that time? So she was born in 1882
mhm,
and the book
18.
was 1925.
I'm not good at math, but she was 40
3.
something, 43, okay.
Yes, 43. So maybe this is the age where people begin to question all their life.
Maybe when you are in 1925, because now I think this is like really, when you're 40, you're still young and happy and so on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so coming back to this questions, what is the main idea of the book in your opinion?
I thought before our like meeting that it was like celebrating the life, something like
Mm-hmm.
that, because this about that was like discussed and written in the end of the book, and I just thought that, okay, this is the main idea about the joyful life and so on. But now I don't know. What is your idea?
Okay. Masha, have you read now?
I am here.
Mm-hmm.
I have not read the book. I'm the bad guy here. I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
okay.
here to listen mostly, but I know that it's a classics of feminist literature, so I plan to read it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm not scared of spoilers though, so you can discuss whatever you want and need to.
Okay. So the main idea of the book is to so for me it was to to dive into these memories about your life, to question your choices maybe, to see if you decided everything right in your life, because that is the question that Septimus and um, Clarissa are asking themselves. Yeah, so she
Mm-hmm.
is thinking about her youth, and he's thinking about Evans. So yeah, maybe you're right. It's about celebrating the life because it is uh, how we know right now it is interwar period.
Mm-hmm.
For them, it's only post-war. But maybe they feel this smell of the Second World War already.
Maybe.
Okay. So there are a lot of characters. At first, I wanted to make a mind map with all the characters and their relationship with each other, but then I thought it's going to confuse you. So try to remember the characters. Which character do you sympathize with and why?
Seems like nobody.
Nobody.
I
So
don't
we
know.
have.
Maybe Elizabeth. And
Uh-huh.
it's not why we have the same name.
Mm-hmm.
Just because she's young and not, I don't know, rude, and she's clear and kind. Because the other characters, they all something not okay with.
Mm-hmm.
And with Clarissa too. I don't I would not say that she is like a mm, how to say, sorry, I need to pleasant. Is She's not a pleasant woman for me. Yes, because her thoughts about other people and about her youth and so on, they're not like kind sometimes. And yeah, that's why I can say that I like her.
Yeah, and this is the thing that what we come into their minds and we see not only like how we
Mm-hmm,
see other people, right? So we don't know what is going on in their minds. We come into the heads of each character and we
mm-hmm,
see their judgmental thoughts,
mm-hmm.
what they think of other people. That's interesting. Agree. Elizabeth is really unspoiled here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, kind of. Yes, but I expected that something would be with her too, because her parents, her society, her circle, yes, like of the people, her teachers, it's all can influence on her,
Mm-hmm.
and that she can be like a rich, spoiled girl, but seems like she's really good. And yeah, that's why she has my sympathy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. Also, I would say that I a little bit sympathize with her youth friend. Oh, she is called Sally. Called Sally.
Sally. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sally Seaton, if I'm not mistaken. She's really interesting character. On one hand, she is how it's called. She's against the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she goes against the stream. But on the other hand, she has 5 children now, and she is married with she has married a rich man, and
Mm-hmm.
it's controversial. So
Yeah, maybe this is the question, like that you told, that when the woman married to someone, so okay, you are not the same as you was, and you're a new person, and now you're missing something,
mhm,
and not Sally, Clarissa, and you need to forget about your like attitude and so on. So you're not as you were.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Uh, and at the same time, when you're married, you are kind of protected, you
Mm-hmm.
know, in the how society sees you. You're protected. You are with the husband, and you um, bear his status, not yours. And maybe this is why Clarissa married Richard because
Mm-hmm.
of the status also. Because if we compare with Peter
Mm-hmm.
Walsh, they are really, really different.
Yes. And when I saw this video before the meeting, I also saw that she was saying that with Richard, I can be just Clarissa, and I can have my like free time and do what I want. But with Peter, I I couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So how this is super great that I've married Richard, not Peter. Um, yes.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Okay. And Lisa, what about stream of consciousness technique?
It was crazy. I would say that I don't like this, especially when it in English with old-fashioned English. This is really crazy, and yes, I I understood that I like when there is some plot
Mm-hmm.
and you can understand why you're reading this for what that you want to understand what would be in the end, but this was something strange for me. um
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know, do you like this?
Um, well, I liked this stream of
Mm-hmm.
consciousness. Why I say this? Because I've started Ulysses by James Joyce before, and
Oh,
this is a super difficult book to
yeah, I know.
understand. So this one I quite liked because I understand that it is so smooth
Mm-hmm.
how she goes from Clarissa's memories or Clarissa's reality
Mm-hmm.
to another person, then back into the memories. That's great, and I would say she's a master in this.
Mm-hmm. Maybe, yes, when you compare this to Ulis, then now I understand that, yeah, it was kind of sometimes it was really, I don't know, cute and interesting and yeah, not so big.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was quite good, but um I really was mad sometimes when I don't understand what's happening. And a few pages ago, she was in her 17th. Now she's here, and what's going on? And now it's saying about Septimus and Peter and where they are. Why is it memory or what? And it was really hard for me, and that's why I would say that no, I don't like it, and I don't want to read this again and something similar to that.
Okay, so good for you. There are not a lot of books written in stream of consciousness because I
Yay.
think that's extremely difficult style of writing,
Mm-hmm.
in
Yes,
my
and
opinion.
reading too.
And reading. Yeah, well, modernism is a lot about suffering for the writer and for the reader.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I'm not a fan of modernism too, but sometimes it's really cool to understand.
Yeah, or maybe she was really ill and she's just writing something without understand what she's doing, and people after reading just somehow like the power of reviewers and so on, and marketing,
Mm-hmm.
and some people just said that, oh, this is stream of conscious, wow, this is so cool, and other people just mm, he understands something. Maybe I don't understand, so I would say that yes, this is really a masterpiece, and so on and so on. And now we're reading this and to understand.
Yeah. Maybe it is the thing, but I'm sure it's not. So, well, I quite enjoyed this one.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Cool.
yeah. And the last question, why is Septimus introduced into the narration, in your opinion?
Um, maybe also to show this celebration of life. Yeah, like to be something opposite to Clarissa, I would say, because he committed a suicide, and Clarissa at the same time thinking about her life. And after that, at the party, someone told her about Septimus and his suicide, and she was just confused. Why are you brought death here and so on? It's like, don't speak about that. We're not speaking about death here. It's only life, celebrating of life. This is the party, and we are like not young, but we are okay, and yeah, something like that. And also, as it was after the war, maybe it was important to say something, like to say some opinion about that, and that all the soldiers after the war, they really hurted, and they have some illnesses, not only physical but in their minds, and like we need to talk about that. And I guess that um, it was not so maybe popular to talk about that openly, um, about some psychological problems, and Virginia saying about that, and I don't know, kind of rise a sign for this problem to the society.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's really a great idea. Maybe. So what, not Evans, what Septimus had, this is called a shell shock or PTSD.
Mm-hmm, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so um, this is one of the examples in literature when when people speak about the mm, the result for
Mm-hmm.
people, for other people of World War One. Yeah, that's right. Clarissa, I mean, and Septimus are compared in all of the ways. They have similar, but at the same time, really different fates. So, yeah, they are brought together for us to compare. And actually, I found this quote about not being Clarissa anymore, but
Mm-hmm.
Mrs. Dalloway. She had the oddest sense of being herself invisible, unseen, unknown. There being no more marrying, no more having children now, but only this astonishing and rather solemn progress with the rest of them, up Bond Street, this being Mrs. Dalloway. Not even Clarissa any more. this being Mrs. Richard Dalloway.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, that was the 8th page, and this
Mm-hmm.
is the question that we face in the beginning of this book. And
Oh, yes.
actually, I asked you about the flowers and didn't answer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. Did I answer?
No, you just told, think about the time.
Yes, yes, exactly. Think about the time. And what I meant about the time is that buying flowers for her party, such a not significant gesture, yeah. Um, and at the same time is significant because she decided to do it herself, because it offers her an opportunity to assert her personal agency in a way that a woman of her social status rarely can. So that means that she's doing something that usually servants do, but at the same time she's finding this mood, this atmosphere for the party herself. So this is one of the iconic opening lines. So Mrs. Dalloway decided she would buy flowers herself.
Yeah, that's very catchy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I remember that there was a moment when her husband Richard also bought her of flowers, yes, and he wanted to say her I love you, but as I understood, he didn't do
Didn't.
that. Yes, and also she was kinda maybe saying that, but not, and it was really strange for me, like um, reading this and why, for what, and not happened from that. And also, when at the beginning of the book, she knew that Richard had an invitation for this Lady Bruton like lunch.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that maybe she is his she is his lover, and that Clarissa and Richard has a bad relationship and so on, but then no, they're okay
Mm-hmm.
maybe, and she's remembering about her past lover, and I'm just thinking, what is going on? Why are you doing this? And yeah, but in the end, it's just okay. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yes. Well, speaking about this scene with flowers and Richard, it was mentioned there that she understands everything without words, but at the same time, he wants to say them. And that was kind of this game with the feelings, with the sides, I think. And maybe they understood everything. They had great relationship.
Mm,
Uh,
maybe
and
maybe
now
this
I.
is like
Mhm.
maybe like when you're when sometimes girls asking her boyfriends, do you love me, and they said, yes, I told you it once. So you need to understand that. So yes, from this time, from that time, I love you. I said this. Why I need to repeat it all the time?
Mhm.
And maybe this is kind of that situation.
Maybe. So now when you're talking about the situation, I thought maybe it kind of reflects Virginia's relationship with her husband,
Mm-hmm.
because we know she was gay. and at the same time she was married, and there is nothing written about their relationship with Leonard. So maybe that was the same. That was how she felt about Leonard. So she didn't love him passionately,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time they had great relationship as friends.
Okay, yeah. Maybe. And there also was a moment when like Sally kissed her in the beginning, or
Mm-hmm.
at her hair use. Yes, and I don't remember this from my book, but I saw this in this video. So maybe it was cut off my version of the
Maybe.
book because it's like libraries and Polish and
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So this is what we are coming to. So we're going to number 9. This is themes. So I've created some stickers where that you can use to um, think about the themes that Virginia Woolf is speaking about in the book. And then I'm going to share with you what I have found about the themes.
Mhm. So we can use this sticker.
Yeah, and
One
right.
sticker for one theme, or
You can create stickers yourself, so
Mhm,
it's up
mhm.
to you.
Okay. Maria, I don't know, is Maria is joining now.
I never left.
Ah.
So I'm not sure if I can answer the question, like what are the themes of the book, because I've never originally like read it. I feel like in school I was always that one kid that read everything, so now I feel super guilty about this.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoy your discussion though.
Okay, so maybe something from our discussion will lead you to the themes. So you can try.
I'm not that confident.
Hmm.
Is that it?
Maybe yes.
Okay. Would you comment on them?
Yes, sure. So first of all, it's life. Yes, as I said, that the book is about celebrating the life and all of the thinking about the life. Also, it's about love. Love between Chris and Richard, and love, even love with between Peter and his lover's ex-wife,
Wives.
and
Yes.
new, yes. Um, love between all these pairs of people that they
Mm-hmm.
it's about past memories, maybe, to be clear, um, because yes, the characters remembering this, and they sometimes leave this past. Yes, and Clarissa and Peter, and also Septimus, he's like remembering this war always. And yes, also I wrote this. This is about war, after the war time, about the how war can hurt and heart
Hurt.
hurt her. And also I wrote age, because it's also about sorts, about like age, that we are old now, and our youth, and so on. And yes, so that's my list of topics.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Agree. About past age. Yes. So past and age we can combine in the topic in the theme time
Yeah, yeah.
maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Time and secular living. This is what internet gives us.
Mm-hmm.
So it is interesting how Virginia plays with time in this book because so there is a special term which I can't recall right now, but something with the reading time and the reality in the book. So if you see how it is narrated in the audiobook, you
Mm-hmm.
will see that it's almost 8 hours. So basically the whole day.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
And usually, when we read books, it is all about like 1, 2 days can be on this single page, and it's only 1, 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, with all the memories, with all the events happening in reality, it takes the whole day,
Mm-hmm.
literally, to read the book, and the whole day is described. So this is one of the tricks, one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that modernists do. And this is also what James Joyce did in his Ulysses. It's also on the whole day, and it
Mm-hmm.
takes 1,000 of pages to read,
Yeah.
so it's even more than a day. Okay. Yes. Love, life. This is what is combined under the title existential issues in on the internet. So uh, all the choices that they made in their lives, I mean Clarissa, Peter,
Mm-hmm.
Septimus, they question. So this is all about the decisions. It's all about the thoughts that they have. It's existential crisis in
Mm-hmm.
some way. Yes. Also, what we have, it's feminism, as Masha said, it's one of the
Yeah,
books.
right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, interwar society that she's talking about all these parties, all these husband, Mrs. All of that stuff is questioned at that time, so it's really up to date book and at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's what people were thinking of. And of course, homosexuality. The this kiss between Sally and Clarissa, this unknown relationship between Septimus and Evans.
Mm.
When you
Right.
read, it's you don't believe that they were just friends or they
Mm-hmm.
were just comrades in the army. So it's something more. This is also the theme that is mentioned here. Clarissa is coming back to this kiss all the time because it's one of the brightest memories in her life, one of the brightest events. So which is sad actually that she's 55 and this is one of the brightest events. Um, so yeah, you basically thought almost about all of them. Great. And yeah, here I also wanted to discuss some symbols. Maybe you've noticed symbols, maybe you would like to interpret them, analyze.
Symbols. I don't know, maybe flowers can be some symbol of
Can be.
something. um, mm,
What are they symbol of?
um, I don't know. So first of all, it's a symbol of, as you said, like when she bought flowers herself. It's like the symbol of being, I don't know, being a free woman. I don't know, and be able to buy flowers herself, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like a gesture, I don't
Gesture?
know, gesture of yes, this freedom and conscience and so on,
Mm-hmm.
and also flowers. Richard bought flowers for her, so it's kind of symbol of love, maybe, or interest, and like um, something like that. So that's why I thought about flowers, um, and maybe that's all that I can see.
Mm-hmm. Also, I've searched on the internet and
Mm-hmm.
I also found that so I don't quite remember this moment, but the old lady in the window, Clarissa
Oh,
was
right.
looking at her,
Mm-hmm.
was the symbol of age, of what we are becoming with age.
Mm-hmm.
So with all these existential issues and questions.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. You're right. Oh, and there was a plane with some letters on the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you remember this?
Mm-hmm.
And what is it about? I don't understand the word that was written by this plane and why it was done. And maybe this
Hmm.
kind of symbol. I don't know.
Um, well, I think that was mentioned for creating atmosphere because she also mentions a lot of omnibuses, cars,
Um,
how different rich or royal people coming through London. So she's describing London very good, and you can imagine them,
mhm.
all these things. So the car that blows and it creates this sudden sound. Uh, yeah, so I think it's just for for the atmosphere. And one more symbol, it's this small knife that Peter had when coming.
Yes, 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 yes. And he always plays with this knife in the pocket. And yeah, I also was wondering why. What is it? For what?
Okay, maybe you have an idea what is the symbol of. It's really easy to guess, I would say.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I just thought that when he is nervous, he's just doing this, just playing, and but no other ideas.
Mm-hmm. It's the symbol of indecisiveness of this uncertainty because this is the character that is you can't really sympathize with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not knowing what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't know if she wants to marry that woman in India. He doesn't know if he is still in love with Clarissa because he says, "No, I'm over her." But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, he's stalking her and thinking about her all the
Mm-hmm.
time. So yeah, this
Mm-hmm.
knife also a really interesting detail.
Yeah, good catch. Yeah.
Okay, maybe you remember some other points that you would like to discuss, or you have questions that maybe I have answers to.
Maybe the one like I don't know topic questions that I want to remember. It's about this history teacher and Elizabeth, Miss Cleaton, I can't remember.
Uh, yeah, let me just one moment. I have her. Tillman.
Kilman. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was wondering why Virginia Woolf added this character to the book, and what is it about? Why this woman like um, she is, and so on.
Mm-hmm. Uh, well, maybe you remember your feelings when you read about this Miss Kilman.
Um, she's she's unpleasant, and maybe I'm a little bit pitied her because it's kind of obvious that she's not happy, and she's envy to Clarissa. Maybe she's I don't know how it in English. Презирать.
Do you think she? Mm-hmm. She hated her. Despise or
Despise. Yes.
detest. That
Mm-hmm.
was in the book.
Yeah. Yes, and it's not obvious for me why, because she's really envy, or because she's thinking that she is higher than Clarissa, like more maybe educated, and I don't know, more how to say, not good, but um, right, right, not right, like she's really better, and that's all. And
Mm-hmm.
but why? I don't understand. And she's really not happy and thinking about the food. Um, and she has her old coat or trench, as I remember. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand why this woman appeared in the book.
Uh-huh. That's interesting that you think that she's better. But and
I don't think that she's better. This
uh-huh.
is Miss
Kilman.
how Kilman. Miss Kilman think that she is better than Clarissa, I guess.
Yeah, she thinks so, but at the same time she hates her, but not hates her. It's really complicated because if you remember she's German, or she
Ah,
has a mother, her mother was German. So
mm-hmm.
Kilman
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is
Mm-hmm.
written in a really interesting way because there is missing H, so it's Kilman with H before L.
Mm-hmm.
He is poor. That's why she hates Clarissa because she thinks that Clarissa has only her money and
Mm-hmm.
everything is ready made for her. So
Yeah.
that's my first idea was uh, to show this attitude to Clarissa Dalloway that not everybody loved her,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time that she is not perfect. She
Yeah,
also
that's right.
hates people.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked you about the emotions, the feelings that you
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
felt.
Yeah, this is a good point. Yeah, and I miss. I think Miss Gilman just angry at the whole world um, and only not only on Clarissa at Clarissa.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, hmm. And maybe about this her German side, it was something about German and really maybe a hot topic for that time that
Yes,
should be discussed as well.
all the Germans were really angry at the world that they were defeated. So maybe that's also one of the ways to describe the
Mm-hmm.
society
Mm-hmm.
they lived in.
Yes, I guess so. Yeah, so now I have the answer.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Um, okay. So let's compare a little bit more Clarissa and Septimus. What is similar and what is different about them?
Mm. So the one wanted to die and the second wanted to live.
Is it so?
um, Interesting.
Oh, there was something. So when they told about Septimus' death, Clarissa said some phrase, I feel very much like him.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I tried to find it. So, so yeah, actually, she was the one who wanted to leave, but at the same time, she did think about the death. Maybe it's not about committing suicide, but it's about just the thoughts. Yeah, casual thoughts about the death that we all have. Okay, I can't find it. But there was such a phrase.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else?
Mm-hmm. Let me think. Mm. I just thought that Clarissa is like a main character, and I haven't thought about this like Clarissa and Septimus like a comparison between them. It was Septimus was for me just like um, second side character. I don't know how it's
Mm-hmm.
English, and yes.
Yeah. Actually, I found information about this book that it is combined. The book was made of two short stories.
Oh, really? Oh,
Mrs. Dalloway at the Bruton Street
Mhm.
and Prime Minister. So I think they were the main characters of all this, so of both short stories, and
Uh-huh.
then they're combined in this really interesting way.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there's a really important detail that it is that is similar about them. Maybe you can remember it.
Something from the past, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Kind of. Yes.
Mm, hmm. Maybe that they were living with their past more than with present
Present. Mm-hmm.
present
Mm-hmm.
time. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, just this sort.
Mm-hmm. Actually, there was something about Septimus that he thought. Okay, maybe you remember this moment when it was about Septimus' love for books and Shakespeare, and he wrote letters to his teacher, and she corrected them without reading the sense.
Can't remember this.
Okay,
Okay.
so they both loved Shakespeare,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh,
there was uh, Clarissa reads lines from Shakespeare works.
mhm.
So, fear no more the heat or the sun, nor the furious winter's rages, though my worldly task has done, home art gone, and thanks my wages. Um, Golden lesson girls all must, as chimney sweepers come to dust. So they both loved um Shakespeare, and
Mhm.
they both read him.
Mhm.
So I think that's what also speaks about the characters, both of them.
Mhm. Okay, maybe it was also cut off my version of book.
Yeah, maybe.
Or I just didn't notice this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe I've found this one. But this young man who had killed himself, had he plucked holding his treasure, if it were now to die, 'twere now to be most happy, she had said to herself once, coming down in white.
Mhm.
So if it's the time to die right now, it is the time to be the happiest. Yeah,
Yes.
and yeah, that's a great idea. And one more question I wanted to ask you. Why these parties are so important?
Mm, meet society, meet some friends, meet prime minister. It's like
Mm-hmm.
networking, maybe. Just like now we are meeting with other people to just know each other and find some connections. Um, and also the party, it's something about celebrating the life and
Mm-hmm.
drinking, eating, laughing, dancing, beautiful clothes. makeup, and so on. So yeah, it's just like being happy right now and not thinking about the past, like about the war and so on, and not thinking about the future, also about the war and something like that.
Yeah. Um, yes, but at the same time, that was, as it's not so sad to say, it was the only thing that was left for Clarissa and for women her age, because she has no children to grow,
Mm-hmm.
so to uh, Elizabeth is really a grown up herself. She has all her housework done by the servants.
Mm-hmm.
So what else for her to do?
Like the party was her sense of not sense meaning of the life. Is it
Uh,
correct? I said.
yeah, the sense of life, it's also correct to say.
Mm-hmm.
Like for this period of time, maybe. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's also about fitting the society.
Mm-hmm.
Like this meme, you know,
No,
вливаться
no,
в общество, быть
no,
счастливым, no?
no, no, no.
Okay. Um, okay, never mind then. So it's
I don't
really
see it now.
really the thing that was mm, it was expected maybe from this women. Because it was since early ages, even in Three Musketeers, they always hang out in some places, and they go to lunch, they go to breakfast, they go to parties. So yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe some kind of networking. Um, okay.
This
So
is a funny meme, and also tons of variations with this.
yes,
Okay, now I understand.
yes. Um, Okay, so I ran out of questions. I think we can finish
Mm-hmm. Yes,
here.
I think it was a good discussion. I liked it.
Yeah, and I really didn't notice how the um time flew by. That's a
Yes.
great um sign, I think. Masha, what do you think?
I think it was a great podcast for me.
Thank you. Live podcast, and only
Yeah,
for you.
exactly.
Okay, great. Thank you, girls, for participating. And let me just make a photo of us.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so say hi. Hi. Good. So, thank you for spending this 1.5 hours with me, talking about literature and this book, Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. Next book will be of Kuang Babel.
Oh,
So,
really?
yes, we're going to
Great.
discuss. Uh, yeah, and the reading will start on the September the 4th.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah, good.
So, yeah, see you in the next discussion.
Yeah, see you.
Bye bye.